Grab your fur coats, Imagine-idiots, because today we're stepping through the wardrobe. As the air grows colder, the world falls quiet, and snow begins to drift from the sky. Creatures stir in the woods, old prophecies whisper back to life, and a lamppost glows just ahead. This is Narnia Reimagined, brought to life in the way we think Imagineers might build it today. This is Idiot's Guide to Imagineering. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Season 4. I'm Steven, and we are rolling right into Episode 2 with one of the most iconic fantasy worlds ever created. Before we get started, quick reminder that Idiot's Guide to Imagineering is now on YouTube. Hello.
Hi.
With
Hello.
full video, reactions, maps, visuals, all the good stuff. And if you're listening on audio, you can switch over right now by searching Idiot's Guide to Imagineering on YouTube and hitting subscribe. Of course, I'm not going into this Narnian adventure alone. I've got two of my favorite magical creatures with me tonight, Katie and Marissa. Hello, Narnians.
Hello, fellow Narnian idiot guide or person.
Narnidiots.
Imagine idiots.
Narn idiots.
I
We're
like
Narnidiots
Narnidiots.
tonight.
Idiots.
Wow, that's good.
Mm.
Well, if you're new here, welcome. And if you're not new here, welcome also. We're a group of former Walt Disney cast members who love exploring Imagineering through original concepts. We're not doing park tips, meal plan updates, or arguing about which ride queue is the worst because everyone knows it's Slinky, Dog, Dash. Although I don't because I got to ride at Jollywood and it was only a 5-minute wait.
Well, we
So,
can't all be that
thing-
lucky, Katie.
There's no shade in that line.
No, it's terrible.
Nope.
All the shade for no shade.
Yeah.
Anyhow, our show is all about creative storytelling and how Imagineers bring worlds to life.
And this season, we're really pushing ourselves. Every project comes with something real you can learn about Imagineering, not just a fun idea we made up. So you get entertainment and an actual tiny bit of Imagineering knowledge all in one bit.
And if you're enjoying season 4 so far, hit that follow button on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It actually helps new listeners find the show and keeps you connected for each new episode.
And we'd love it if you could leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. That's my media thing of choice. What would you call that?
Platform.
Thank you very much. My platform.
Listening platform.
My listening
Mhm.
platform. As I say, browser.
Media
and
thing
Mhm.
for life.
Sometimes I'm still living in
Streaming
the 90s,
service, I
y'all.
believe, is the appropriate term.
Thank you. But again, leave us a review. We read every new one in a future episode, and we'd love to shout you out.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Idiots Imagineering. That's where we drop maps, concept art, reels, and that's where you can also yell at us if we have a controversial opinion or choice that we make. But please do not yell too loud because Katie can't handle it. She gets
No,
really sensitive. She holds on to every single thing. If it's 1% negative, she's going to
That's it.
remember it forever.
And it's all we'll hear about.
That's why she doesn't comment on Reddit anymore.
I know someone was very mean to me when I was trying to build somebody up about their choice in hair extensions, and they yelled at me. And I was like, I'm just trying to be nice. And now I have to
Wow.
delete this account and start all over again.
Nope. And that
So
was
they don't
4
find
years
her.
ago, and we're still
Yeah.
hearing about it to this day.
No, that was only 4 months ago.
Well, it feels like 4 years with the amount
Yeah,
of times
because we've heard about it a lot.
Well, also, listeners, one time Steven told me that he needed a break from me, and I
Okay.
will never forget that moment.
That was like 14 years ago.
But we're
That was about
still
a month.
here.
a month after
We're
we
sti-
met.
We're still together.
But we're still here, so
That's
we've
right.
moved past it.
I have a lot of things to say, a lot of opinions, a lot of things, but nothing nice. Be nice
True.
to us. Don't be
if
mean.
anyone needs a break, it's probably from me. But anyway,
Yeah.
we didn't
True.
get to do this on the premiere because there was just too much to share. But our weekly group prompt is back for
Yes.
season 4.
Yay.
I love a
Mhm.
prompt.
That's right. And since we are heading to Narnia today with my Narnidiots, I want to know, what is one movie or book universe outside of Disney that you think would translate into a beautiful, immersive land in a theme park? And Katie, I'm going to put you on the spot to go first.
Oh man, I hate when this happens. I love the prompts, but hate when it's me.
I know. It's a lot of thinking.
Okay. I'm going to say something that gets probably tossed around a lot, but it would be really cool if somebody picked this up. But I'm going to say Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit, like any of the focus on that. I think that is a very unique world. I feel like theme parks and fantasy novels go hand in hand. It's like everything you possibly could have imagined and more. And you get to dream it up and make it exactly how it is in your mind. And it's just so cool bringing it all to life. I think Harry Potter worlds are amazing and they did a great job of making that a reality. So I think it'd be really cool to see that. I need to go to Frodo's house. I need to be at Little Hobbit house to have dinner, come for a party or two. You know, that's where I need to be.
I think you're spot on with that. And I think we're going to get it someday.
Actually, really surprised they haven't done it yet.
Yeah,
I know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But we manifest a lot of things on the show. So you heard it here.
I hope this is the next one.
Marissa, tell me. You go next.
So I definitely would have said Harry Potter, but you know, we've been there, done that already. So I was thinking a lot of times on
Twilight.
Oh, that's not what I was going to say, but that's great. Except you can go to Forks in real life, which one day Katie and I will go to.
One day,
but we'll also have
I'm gonna
vampires there. I didn't even think of that. No, so I know Christmas is over, but my brain is just permanently stuck in Christmas Town. So I was thinking, and I also really love watching ambient worlds on YouTube when I'm at my office and I sit and look at the beautiful views. And today at work, I was watching a train and looked like Switzerland or something, which made me think of the Polar Express.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good
one. We could take the train ride and, you know, just go around, and I need them serving me hot chocolate.
Oh, we got it.
I am so glad for those who joined us on YouTube today. That was a good one.
You know, Marissa, hold on to that one for the end of this year. We can do a special Polar Express episode.
Okay. Non-Disney IP.
Yeah.
But,
you know, what if it was a Thunder Mountain pop-up or like holiday layover?
Ooh, that'd be fun.
You trying to get your hot cocos, but the rat's going crazy and the coco's flying.
A man's
and the kids
jumping
are
around the seats.
Yeah.
Who owns Polar Express?
I don't know.
Let me see.
You want to
dumber
pull
than
up the
normal.
old Goog?
Yeah,
yep, let me Goog.
While you research, I'm going to hop on over to Steven. What would yours be?
Okay, so mine, I don't know that it would work just in the nature of what it really is, but I like the idea of being able to experience and walk into the Hunger Games world.
Aren't they doing that?
So there is a Hunger Games land at some park in who knows where, but it's really low budget. I mean, I hate to say that and offend whatever park it is, but I'd like to see it done really well where you could go into the Capitol or go into one of the districts. But I also think it's so political and it's so kind of dark that I don't know that it would work in a theme park setting.
What would be the attraction that you have to go in and try to survive, make it out?
You go
alive?
in and you experience the Hunger Games. I think it's too dark. I don't think this would ever work. Like kids,
I don't know how you
can't bring
make
kids
that
to that.
Fun.
Yeah, but it is a world that I'd want to.
You can combine it. We could combine our lands together, so they could go to the Hunger Games world.
Okay.
Narrowly escape death and be really upset that they lost their whole family in the process, and then come on over to Lord of the Rings land, and we're going to Frodo's for a barbecue.
Okay, because I was about to say, isn't that like a near-death experience when they're trying to find the rings? So the whole
we're not going
thing
to that part of the park.
Near-death.
I'm going to have it be it's the Shire. That's the only part we're going to focus on. It's too lovely. Yours is too dark.
Mine's too dark.
Yeah, you need something to celebrate not dying in the Hunger Games.
Exactly. It's lighthearted around here.
Well, I think Katie's is the most realistic. Marissa's is definitely possible, and mine's probably a no-go.
Yours is at that small budget, low budget. Oh,
we'll
God.
have to keep that in the movies.
Budget. Yeah. Yours is far away from reality. Or, I don't know, world's wild. Maybe it'll be real life. Who knows? But anyways, and with that, now it's time for our Imagineering project of the week. And for those joining us for the first time, each week our team selects a project manager to develop a thoughtful, strategic proposal for a new or updated Disney experience. Our ideas are grounded in reality, taking into account current technology, existing park infrastructure, and the principles that make Disney magic work. While we're mindful of budgets, we're not bound by them, giving us the freedom to explore ideas that are informed, imaginative, and educational, offering a peek into how Imagineering balances stories, design, and guest experience. This week's project manager is Steven.
Katie,
What?
Why are you shushing?
What is it?
before we get started, I need you to keep your voices down.
Why? I don't know how to do that.
In Narnia, even the trees can hear you, and some of them might just report back to the Queen. But if we're careful, I can tell you a story about a hidden corner of this world, a place that I think could come alive, and how Imagineers might create it today. Today, I'm stepping in to imagine that space. Just make sure the wrong creatures don't overhear us.
I don't know how to be quiet. People always overhear me.
You've never been able to do that in your life.
Hers is just as bad as I am.
No, I'm not. I'm fine.
Imagine we do this whole episode in a
Whispering.
ASMR.
mystery whisper ASMR
We
tone.
can really
Yeah.
get a whole new generation of fans here
That's true.
into something
Should I- We
We
completely
gotta speak
different.
to every niche,
Just like
right?
hammer and do things and like
Yeah.
click, click, click.
Wow. Okay, well, we're not going to put y'all through that,
That's-
but
Sorry.
I do want to start this project with a question that you probably haven't gotten an answer to or forgot about entirely. What actually happened between Disney and the Chronicles of Narnia?
Yes, I need to know.
I don't know.
This. Yeah.
Katie hasn't thought about it since the last movie came out.
I don't think I
probably even
ever
before.
thought about
We-
it. Just
we
kind
did-
of
I never
disappeared
thought
into
about
the
it.
Yeah.
wind.
You never
No.
crossed your mind. We
No.
did talk briefly
Did
about
not.
this just before we hopped on, and I literally asked, "Did a third one ever come out? What
Yep.
happened with that? Did
This
they finish
Yeah,
it?"
she
could be
did
part of the
ask that.
problem here. This could be part of the
Well,
problem.
we don't know. We just don't
But
know.
let's talk some box office numbers real quick. Disney and Walden Media released The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe in 2005, and it was a monster hit. It made over 745 million worldwide.
Wow. Yeah.
Jeez.
But the next two sequels made significantly less, with Prince Caspian in 2008 and Voyage of the Dawn Treader in 2010, which earned each of them was about 400 million. So not bad,
That's
but
still
not
kind of a lot.
not as good. I mean, almost half of what the first one made. So still big numbers, but it's not blockbuster for Disney big. If you
Mhm.
think about it, Zootopia 2 made more in its opening weekend than the second two movies did in their entire run in theaters. So
Well, it's Zootopia. Of course
But-
it does.
true. Yeah.
Did we account for
Inflation?
yeah.
No. So that's it's a good point. But altogether, the trilogy made over $1.5 billion. So
Wow.
it was just the trend was it was heading in the wrong direction. And so once you add in all these creative disagreements with Walden Media and some messy rights issues, Disney just stepped away from it. But the part that people forget is Disney didn't just drop Narnia on film. It actually had a presence in the parks. And I know Marissa remembers this.
Mm-hmm.
Over at then Disney MGM Studios turned Hollywood Studios, there was a walkthrough called Journey into Narnia. You would walk into this like oversized wardrobe in a snowy forest, and it had the lamppost in there. Mr. Tumnus' house was in there. The White Witch was like in there as a character that was talking to you. And then they
I
played.
remember.
Do you remember this?
Now I
Yeah.
remember. Marissa,
Mhm.
I think I went with you.
Yeah.
It's
to me-
possible. I remember the forest part
Mhm.
and the lamppost.
I remember it vividly. And they played this 4-minute video recap of the movie, and you got to see real props and costumes, and then that was it. There was no
Wow.
ride. You were just dumped back out into the Florida sun at that point. So
Wow.
it was kind of like all this build up for nothing.
Not even a shop? Merch
No.
stand?
No.
Nothing.
Wow.
So when the sequel came out, Disney worked it into a Prince Caspian version that had a meet and greet at the end of it. So at least, I mean, there was something
I was
once
a
you got
big
got
fan
outside,
of that Prince Caspian meet and greet. I had a
she
thing for
met
Prince Caspian.
a time or two.
I did. And it was a very uncomfortable experience because it was just him and a character attendant in this little room. And I always just got so overwhelmed and verklempt by
Folks,
Prince Caspian.
she was a character attendant, so this is concerning. Actually, finding this out all these years later that
Wow.
she didn't even know how to behave herself in the presence of a character.
Yes.
I mean,
and
Prince Caspian was a babe. Let's be real.
if
Yeah.
my friend
You're not wrong.
Ashley is listening to this episode, she will know exactly what I mean. We enjoyed ourselves a lot in that Prince Caspian meet and greet.
Okay, well, this explains why it closed for good in 2012. They couldn't have people acting. It may have just
Maybe
been
the
you, but I'm thinking,
safety of Prince
it may have
Caspian.
been multiple fangirls like yourself.
Didn't they didn't bring back who was the elf because people were out of control? Telly?
No, Tally.
Tally,
Tally,
yeah.
yeah.
So this
And
is
so
pre-Tally.
this
This
is
is pre-social
This is
media
the first round of the
Mhm.
game
Yeah.
to be.
from the character attendant herself.
Just this girl in the
Wow.
corner.
Him. I just like to look at
Wow.
him.
Her own worst enemy. Wow. Okay. Well, now that we have
She can wish she didn't
some-
show up to this
some
recording
morality
today.
concerns here, we need to move on. But when we plan these projects, we usually have a few paths that we go down. So sometimes it's a park that needs some love, and sometimes it's some IP that we want to see come to life. There's lots of ways to approach a project. And for this one, I decided to think like a Disney exec. And I was looking at IPs that really stood the test of time, and not just, since Disney made it a movie, but bigger than that. And Narnia has been around for over 75 years at this point. So it resonates with multiple generations. And I think that's a rare opportunity to build a world that's already got this incredible depth, and something I could really only imagine that Imagineers would super geek out over, like just
Mhm.
getting to
Yeah.
use this age old, well, not age old, but century, nearly
Can you do math?
just
This
being
old
able to
story.
use this old story. Yes.
Marissa,
Yes.
do they still teach? Is this still like in schools curriculums, like reading this book?
I don't think so.
I remember when
a
I was
shame.
in elementary school watching the like 1980s
Yep.
BBC version
Yep.
of the movie, and like it really sticking with me. And so when
Oh,
they
wow.
remade it in the 2000s, I was like, whoa. But I mean, that was low budget if you want to talk about, but it was like made for TV. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
whatever. But, people love stepping into alter worlds like this. Like we just talked about it during our prompt. Like if you look at Wizarding World of Harry Potter, like Marissa mentioned, and if you think of Pandora and Galaxy's Edge, these places that don't really exist in real life, but feel totally encapsulating, like rumors about Zelda or even Lord of the Rings, like Katie was saying, hitting Universal maybe in the future, that only proves that we all want to step into these worlds that we've read about and dreamed of. And that is where world building comes in. And authors and creators and Imagineers, they all come together to craft the rules, the culture, and the logic of the world. And then they translate it into a space that you can actually walk through. And that's what makes these experiences so unforgettable. And here we are with another Imagineering term of the week.
Ooh, amazing.
Each episode, we highlight a term that explains how Disney builds magic and connected to our project. And today's term is world building.
How fitting.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's the process of creating a cohesive, immersive, and believable fictional universe. It's about the rules, the history, the culture, the internal logic that make the world feel real and consistent. And in theme parks, this process works alongside technical design to translate that universe into a physical, multi-sensory guest for the experience. So take Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, for example. The Black Spire Outpost has its own culture and politics and species, that are interacting with you that follow all these rules of the Star Wars universe. And Pandora is built on the Na'vi society and sacred sites and this biology of floating mountains and exotic plants. And at Harry Potter, you've got Hogwarts and the hierarchy and magical systems that they have and house traditions. And all these are, details that create the worlds that make sense to fans and newcomers alike. And I know that if anybody goes into these and is a fan of these, they're going to point out anything that's wrong. So they have to overthink what and
Yeah.
predict what people are going to pick apart.
It's like when it's a movie, like when you bring the
Right.
books to the movies, like everyone has their own picture in their mind exactly of what this world should look like.
Yep.
And you have to somehow you find a way to unify all those thoughts and bring this to reality.
Yep. And you've
Can't
talked
imagine
about
what
this in
that's
the
like.
past, Katie, about how Galaxy's Edge, they created a new planet, and
Mhm.
and how a lot of people had an issue with that because it wasn't something they were as familiar with, but it was
Mhm.
within that world. But I wonder if a big point of doing that is that they didn't have to be so strict about everything that was happening there because it could open up new rules and expand the world in that way.
I think wasn't that like some rumor behind or something? I think maybe we may have talked about that
Yeah.
before too. Like it does allow them the
Mhm.
creative freedom to
Yeah.
do whatever they want.
Right.
And we're crazy people. We started a podcast about Imagineering, so
That's
clearly
true.
we had some
We have a
thoughts
lot
and
to say about
opinions.
it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, and we're just three
Yeah.
people.
That's true. Well, I want to make it clear that it's important to note that world building is not the same as placemaking, which was our term from last week. Placemaking is more about making a space feel lived in with like the textures and the paths and the props and everything, but world building is more about the underlying universe that gives those spaces the depth. So now, one of the biggest challenges with a project like this is figuring out where it could live in the parks. And usually, when any of us create one of these projects, we're thinking about a very specific location for it to go. And, within these parameters and this acreage and this square footage and knowing what our limitations are. But this time, I couldn't think of one. So I've
Oh.
kind of
Oh,
broken my own rule here and
Oh.
decided to leave it open ended while I was creating it.
okay.
So I was trying to think of different places. Like, could it go in the new Disneyland Forward project? Like, could this fit in some of that new space they're going to develop out?
That would be cool.
Yeah. Could this expand into Hollywood Studios? Because that's become this immersive world area, like the park has evolved into that. And then I thought Animal Kingdom because there's all these cool creatures that are inside of Narnia. So it could fit there too. And it's very
Yeah.
Animal Kingdom-esque and very Joe Rohde feeling to it.
Mhm.
But maybe this could go in a brand new park down the road. So who knows? Maybe it goes overseas. Maybe it's one of the empty plots in Paris. But for now, we're just going to let the project itself guide the placement as I develop it.
Wow.
Okay.
This is so not
Very-
you.
Very not me.
Wow.
Mhm.
I'm
We
here for it.
usually have
Yeah.
maps and timelines and
Right? Mhm.
theories and
Receipts. Timelines.
oh, what I was
timestamps.
referring to. Yes. Thank you.
Yep. Well, okay, let's jump back into my Disney executive thinking, what everyone wants to hear, me as a businessman.
Hate to talk
Mhm.
business.
Let's hate to talk business, but here's what I see. Narnia has some huge untapped potential. And there are 4 books that have never been adapted. They just
Mhm.
stopped at 3, which means there's fresh material to expand the story and deepen the world building in ways the original films never could. So, bringing Narnia back could also breathe a new life into the franchise that's already done big numbers. We talked about it was 1.5 billion in 3 films. So you can't tell me that Disney ever lets time stop them from reliving a classic or reviving a classic because look at Tron Legacy that came out 20 years later. Hocus Pocus 2 was 30 years later, and Mary Poppins Returns was 54 years later. So
I hate
And
to
I'm
say
gonna
it, but they all
guess-
stink.
I was going to say, I'm going to guess that whatever comes from Narnia, because it's based on the
Mhm.
books, will automatically be better by default.
true.
Yes,
right,
I
right.
agree.
It's got the
'cause
source material.
So it makes
To
more
back it
sense
up,
All of those
right.
sequels
to
are
develop that.
disappointments
Okay,
in my
Hocus
book.
Pocus 2 wasn't bad.
Oh,
That scene in the CVS was or Walgreens where they were. I liked
I
that.
didn't
Okay,
like
maybe I was the
Hocus
only
Pocus
fan.
too.
Okay, well,
And
of
I
course,
love Lin-Manuel Miranda, we know that, but keep him away from Mary Poppins. He doesn't belong there.
Nope.
Strong
Okay,
opinions.
here we
Strong
are once
opinions.
again.
Imagine idiots, let me know if you're on my team on this.
Okay, send her a message. Comment on something that we post about this. Well, Disney stepped away from the rights and they actually belong to Netflix now.
Oh.
I learned all of this while I was
Wow.
creating this. And Greta Gerwig is actually set to direct The Magician's Nephew, which is actually the 6th book, but it's the
Hmm.
first that takes place in the Narnia timeline.
Oh.
So it's actually
Oh.
slated to come out at the end of this year.
So then are they going to do the story in chronological?
I don't know. I'm wondering if
Order?
they're starting over.
Interesting.
Like they're
Yeah.
like they're thinking of it, let's do this in a linear
in a reverse,
path.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
if we could do it
Ooh.
better than Disney did it.
Right. And Greta Gerwig, I mean, that's not just your average day director. They brought
No.
in the big guns on this. So
Wow.
for today we're playing the what if game and just thinking about what Narnia could look like if Disney had never let it go.
I don't think you really shared this. Where did you come up with Narnia from? Like,
So that's
just your
so I
thought
was
process there.
yeah. So when I'm trying to like from scratch create a project, that's one of the hardest things
Yeah.
about this
Yeah.
show. I think all of us have experienced this. Trying to come up with what you want to do. It's so there's so much out there and there's so much we've already done. So it's kind of like where do you even begin? And so I have all these different ways, but this one I was searching what are Disney's most profitable
Okay.
franchises of all time. And so
Okay.
that's where I got to Narnia. It came up in
I
like
was
the
just
top
like,
5
Oh, wow.
for
Wow.
for movies. So that's how we got here.
oh,
But
okay.
but yeah, so I mean, I think it's also kind of fun to think about the idea of what if Netflix and Disney work together. I don't think that would ever really happen, but
No.
imagine connecting Netflix's vision with Disney's legacy and maybe a way to kind of adapt Narnia.
Well, maybe they would because look, I mean, Universal doesn't own Harry Potter.
Right. That's where I got my thinking of like you've got all this crossover for things. Like Universal
Mhm.
also doesn't own Lord of the Rings. So but they're in talks with that too. Universal doesn't own Nintendo. So I know these are 2 movie kind of production studios, but crazier things have happened.
Yeah.
But I know it's a long shot because it's super rare, but I think it could be interesting to think about how they could complete the saga in a way that's really never happened before. Like if Netflix builds off of Disney's 3 movies and uses that. I don't know.
Mhm.
But enough of that business talk. Let's go to Narnia.
Let's go.
Take us there.
Let's go. So when it comes to actually entering Narnia, that's obviously an important part. You can't just walk in. Otherwise, we would have been there by now.
Yeah.
And it's not part of our world. So the wardrobe is probably the most famous gateway. But magic is really the key ingredient here. So it could be through rings, it could be through enchanted doors or paintings, or a magical horn could transport you between the realms.
Whoa.
So all these types of portals will show how, nature is magical inside of Narnia, and that magic allows anyone, whether that's the Pevensies or friends or accidental travelers that could step into this world. And
Are we those accidental travelers?
I think we're those
Oh,
accidental travelers.
okay.
We've
I'm
stumbled
ready.
upon it.
Let's go.
So, speaking of, in Prince Caspian, it's mentioned that a group of pirates from our world accidentally stumbled into Narnia through a mountain chasm. And I watched all the movies back to like get
Remember?
my
Your
bearings
refresh.
and everything. And yeah, so I picked up on that note and I was like, oh, what if that was a way in?
That's fun.
So if this chasm is providing this practical way to bring a large group of people in and pirates, it could also bring a large group of guests into Narnia at once, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going
So-
with this?
I'm imagining there's like this English countryside that's gradually giving way to these towering mountains with like this swirling mist that's happening, and there's dynamic lighting and laser effects and this illusion of teleportation and warped travel. So if you kind of picture like walking through one of the portals at Epic Universe, but
Mhm.
like super foggy and misty with all this like lighting that's moving through it. So you're like passing through this natural time warp.
Yes.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like what we're doing.
Yeah. And then there obviously be this just magical score playing in the background. So it's just really selling the moment there.
Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, so once we're inside, I think there's an incredible opportunity to feature a weenie of the White Witch's Ice Castle. And if you don't know what a weenie is, maybe we can feature that on an upcoming episode for our Imagineering term of the week.
Yeah, because
But
I don't know what a
basically-
weenie
I don't
is.
know what
Yeah.
it is.
Well,
Katie's our
as
hot dog
Imagineering idiots,
aficionado.
you exactly.
I thought it was just a hot dog.
You
Is
know,
that what it is?
what a weenie is. A weenie is it's like a visually striking landmark that draws guests'
Like
attention
an actual
to it.
hot
So
dog weenie?
so the castle is a weenie, Tree of Life is a weenie, Spaceship
Oh,
Earth's a weenie. You
Have
know
we
this.
used this
Yeah,
term
Yeah.
before?
probably.
I think we
I
have.
don't know if I don't know.
Mhm.
But
It's an
I'm
old,
there
it's
we
an
go.
old Walt term. I don't know if he came up with it, but it's definitely something that he used.
my favorite
yeah,
ride
so there-
popped up when I googled it.
When you
Mickey and
googed
Minnie
the weenie.
Mickey
Yeah,
and Minnie's running
They're the weenie
railway.
yeah, they're the weenie of the main entrance of Hollywood Studios. So, well, y'all got 2 Imagineering terms of the week for one
Oh,
on this
wow.
episode.
are
But
You
well,
are
welcome.
generous this
mhm.
week.
Yeah, you're welcome. Just giving out free knowledge.
Wow, okay.
Don't even
cool.
have
Pick it
to
up.
use the
Mhm.
Goog.
Nope.
But you do have to hit subscribe so you never miss a
That's right.
learning fact.
That's your payment. Well, like I mentioned earlier, I wasn't picturing a specific location for this project, but while planning, it quickly became clear to me that Walt Disney World could be the right home for it.
Why
Why is that?
I think I know.
Right now, there's no frozen land at Disney World, which means this would be the first ice castle in the Florida parks, which would be completely unique and unexpected and kind of felt fresh and ambitious to me.
The Yeti's house at Animal Kingdom is it its own castle?
I believe that's just a mountain.
But it's his castle.
Well, to him,
To Yeti.
Yeti anything's a castle if you want it to be.
My recording closet is
Katie's
my
podcast
castle.
studio / closet is her castle. So with that kind of thinking, you got a castle anywhere you want.
That's why I'm on this show.
But then it hit me, the UK pavilion at Epcot.
Ooh.
That would be so good, and it's tucked back in.
There's
back
so
there.
much
Yes.
land back there.
Yes, there sure is.
So much greenery.
So,
a random stage.
you know me, Marissa called me out earlier saying she knows I got a map and a, layout and everything. So, of course, I rushed to my satellite imager and I realized there's plenty of underutilized space back there. And if you removed the World Showplace Pavilion, you could easily fit the equivalent of 3 or more UK pavilions in that footprint alone.
Wow.
Yeah, that pavilion is
So,
huge.
Yeah. And just beyond the space itself, it's thematically perfect. Narnia's transition has always happened from the UK, as far as we know. And placing the land here, it really kind of respects the geography of the story and the logic of it. So I think true fans would immediately appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I like
love
that.
that. And that area is lacking. It needs some
is.
fun and excitement. We almost got it. We almost got a little Mary Poppins back there.
Yeah, we
but-
did. It's interesting because the first ride you get to is Remy's. You've got to go through 2 countries before
That's
you get
true.
to
If you
a
come that
ride
way.
or like a big experience. So this would kind of give you something to slow down for.
And I'm actually kind of glad it's not Mary Poppins that we're doing, and we're doing this one instead, because it would be really cool to do. But also, it feels kind of Epcot-y. Like, it's very imaginative and like taking your experiences in like a whole other world and what can you dream of.
Yeah.
So I feel that's the spirit of what Epcot was. We're
Yeah.
Epcot.
And coming off of that, it's also, this would be very next level immersion for Epcot, like we've never seen before. So it does sound kind of bold and could be risky, with fans, receiving this, but I believe it's kind of ambitious. But I think these fully realized worlds is exactly what themed entertainment is heading towards. And we always talk about this. So I think Epcot's going to have to go there eventually.
Also, think about it when you're having your drinks around the world. You're having a couple bevies. You walk out of the tavern there in the UK pavilion. You're feeling great, and you just walk through this magical portal into another world.
Right.
And you're like,
So
what
you're
was in that
confused.
bevy? What was in that cocktail?
That's exactly right.
I'm here for it. Let's do it.
When I
Let's
used to
go.
work in the UK pavilion with Pooh, Tigger, and Eeyore, we would always say sometimes when we were getting a little silly because we were tired and we would just say, Pooh's going to Narnia. And sometimes he would hide in the little,
no way.
when it used to be Christopher Robin's room. I don't know if it is still kind
that's
of that.
when I worked in there.
Yes, there used to be a little cabinet that Pooh would go, and we would just say, he's just going to Narnia. So that's what makes me think of.
Wow.
That's
You
what you should-
manifested this.
You could turn that into the entrance. That's the other entrance.
Right.
Yeah.
The little cupboard.
Pooh's little butt just
Wow.
sticking out of a cupboard, going to Narnia.
Then you'd
That's
really
cute.
think those drinks were strong.
We can do a
you
Pooh
saw
meet
that.
and greet in Narnia. That'll be
That'll be
that'll
something.
be confusing. Yeah,
Doesn't need to make sense. It's a magical land.
that's right. Nothing makes sense when it's magical.
Yeah.
And when a castle's anything you want it to be.
I could go through a magical horn, you said, into this
Yeah.
new land.
That's right.
But I do
That's
think
right.
Epcot needs
Pooh be
something
that?
like this. I think that even though we love Epcot for the nostalgia and the countries and world showcase, I think a lot of parents are still like, my kids hate this park. There's nothing for them to do here. Even though they've definitely added more opportunities and attractions, it still needs more for kids.
Yeah.
Well, I think what you're saying sounds to me like something that I thought about very deeply while I was creating this. And how do you play both sides of that? And I think the answer to that is, for the purists out there, which I will admit is us a lot of the times, the way that this would be positioned, it would preserve the iconic look of the UK Pavilion and the overall feel of World Showcase. So, it's going to be tucked behind it and out of sight of the main walkway altogether. Like when you transition through that mountain, that's all you see from the front.
Yeah.
So you're
Which is
nothing's going to
nice.
look different. When you're watching Luminous, everything stays the same. This is hidden. This is Narnia.
I
You're
like
not,
that.
you can't see it from the real world.
Ooh, maybe you could even have like a tie-in, like an updated call out or something in Figment. And he's telling you about like using your imagination and like what's over in the beyond the UK walls, and that like encourages you to go out there or something. And then it just ties in throughout the park.
Which is crazy because it literally will back up to this, like touching the building will back up to it. So he's like right there, like physically.
He's like, come on in.
We just cut a window in the back of that ride and you drive by it and he looks out and he's like, there it is.
Is that his origin story?
Maybe.
Narnia?
Maybe Figment is Narnian. He's a Narn idiot.
None of us knew.
A Narn idiot. Yay. Knew he was one of us. Always knew.
Wow. Okay, so to paint the picture, we're going to recreate this castle from the films in stunning detail. It has tall spires and all these big towers and a courtyard, and it's sitting on this peninsula surrounded by a lake and hills, and it's going to be this big dramatic visual and kind of the emotional centerpiece of the land.
Nice.
So this is also something that I had to think a lot about, is what era of Narnia are we stepping into? Because throughout the books, it evolves from like a kind of darkness to a light to, back and forth and different time periods. So we're stepping into the golden age of Narnia. This is the Pevensies have defeated the White Witch and they've been crowned the kings and queens of Narnia. So this is the positive time in Narnia's history.
Okay, good.
Eternal winter's over. The ice castle is going to remain. And it's just now going to be this majestic landmark that's kind of reclaimed by the people of Narnia instead of this symbol of doom and gloom. But it's not just a visual centerpiece. It's a living part of the story, and it's very seamlessly integrated into the land and its narrative. So every detail is going to reflect the history and the triumph of this world. So back to my entrance of the land. Now, knowing where it's going, the placement could go where the current entrance is to World Showplace. So that's where you're going to come in. So if you're facing UK Pavilion, it's to the right of it. Between Canada's, there's a stage there where Off Kilter plays. So there's that entrance there. That's where it would go. And that's where you have this mini mountain chasm there that is really concealing the land. But I also considered another way into Narnia, aside from walking, since there are multiple ways, right?
How are we getting in there?
And that would be aboard our e-ticket attraction.
Ride.
We're driving through.
Getting a ride. So tucked back in the existing UK Pavilion, the very back where that gazebo is and past where the Pooh meet and greet is in the very back, guests are going to discover a slightly weathered country English estate.
Ooh, my dream.
You could have just opened this land up and just put Prince Caspian in there and she would have been happy.
That's true.
But now
That's true.
She is pumped.
Now you're going to be an attraction and a man.
That's right. Actually, cancel all this. We're just replacing the Pooh meet and greet with Caspian.
Yeah, we saved some money.
And then Marissa's pleased. You got the same approval rating from Marissa.
Doesn't matter.
Episode over.
Bye, everyone. Have a good day. If you could do it, bye.
Okay, so you've come to the back of the existing UK Pavilion. You see this estate that really fits in because this is old England anyway. And this is where your attraction journey begins. And it also acts as a subtle, almost secret gateway into Narnia. And it's really kind of a clever way to link the UK Pavilion with the new land. And you're kind of blending the two worlds so they feel connected from the moment that you arrive to it.
Nice.
Now, inside the mansion, you're going to step into the stately halls that are lined with portraits and bookshelves and relics from a world that feels familiar. And this is the cue for the Chronicles of Narnia: Journey Through the Wardrobe.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be a trackless dark ride that invites you to step directly into the story of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
That
Love
sounds
it.
exactly what Disney would name this ride, actually. It's
That's exactly
pretty
what
perfect.
I thought of, like 10 different ways to
Yep.
name this, and I was
Nope.
like, you know what?
Keep it simple.
Journey is the
Yep.
word. We've got it in
Yep.
everything else.
Yeah, that's great.
So, bring it on
Especially
back.
Epcot.
Yeah,
Yep.
Great.
Mhm.
Always.
Journey into Imagination. They link again.
Oh,
It's
wow.
all connected.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did we just create a backstory?
We just
too?
developed the world building even deeper.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Figment is now a part of it. We've connected it all back. Disney knew this in 1982 when they opened Epcot, that someday we're going to connect this back to C.S. Lewis' Chronicles of Narnia.
I mean, look at the whole the Sea Society of Explorers and
That's
Adventurers.
right.
They found
Yeah.
a way to loop that
That's
back in
right.
30 years later.
And
So
look
why
at
not?
us, Imagineering a backstory.
Here we go.
Well, as you wander through the mansion, we will eventually wind up in the conservatory, which is also the pre-show. And to avoid a plot hole, this is where the timeline is clarified for guests. Because the land itself is set during the Golden Age after the Pevensies have defeated the White Witch. But the attraction is also before that happens. So in the pre-show, guests are going to learn that there's a lingering fragment of the witch's magic that has reawakened. And it's just enough to briefly disturb the natural order. And that disturbance creates a momentary rift, pulling travelers back into an earlier chapter in Narnia's history, which is right into the heart of the endless winter. And things like this do happen in the books and the movies. So I felt
Oh,
it really
you were about
kind
to
of,
say things like this
they-
really happen in real life. And I
They
was
do.
like,
This has happened to
what?
me, actually. This actually happened to me about 3 times during this episode. So I don't know where we are
You fast
in
forwarded to the
chronological
end,
order. I thought it was
left.
over, but we're still
That's
going.
what I ask myself every time we're on
Mhm.
here.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. Speak for yourself, girlfriend.
Zing. Shots fired. Well, inside the mansion, you're going to board a magical sleigh ride vehicle and watch as ordinary becomes extraordinary.
Ooh.
The wardrobe will open and you are transported into the snow-covered forest of Narnia. And while the land uses the chasms as its walking entry point, this attraction is going to use one of the most iconic and personal portals, the wardrobe, as the story moment you can only experience inside the ride.
As someone who's currently in a wardrobe, I'm
That's
excited
true.
for this.
Katie
Katie
really
knows
is
a
on
thing about a
brand and on
wardrobe.
theme tonight. She
I
said, "I'm
heard-
gonna
I
do
heard
this
there was
from the
Narnia."
closet.
It's like already set, ready to
Yep.
go. Halfway there.
Mhm. It's going to start snowing in there any second now.
Oh, I wish.
Well, from a technical aspect, I would have fur coats in front of you that are kind of moving out of your way, that are, giving a sight to these snow-covered trees that also move out of the way for the ride vehicle to come through. Think of like any old dark ride effect where like in Winnie the Pooh, when the heffalumps and woozles move out of your way, or the trees move out of your way, like
Mhm.
for Tigger's scene. So it'll be like that, but a very 2025 and beyond version of this. So from there, the adventure is going to just completely unfold around you. You're going to encounter all the beloved characters like Mr. Tumnus by the lamppost. You'll brave the icy presence of the White Witch's arrival on her sleigh. You're going to witness the clash between good and evil that is, sweeping across all of these detailed environments. And during the White Witch scene, guests are going to experience a first of its kind in ride innovation.
Ooh.
And that is when the Turkish delights that she gives Edmund in the movie will gently pop out from a compartment in front of you in your seat, which will be the first time we're engaging your taste buds alongside your other senses on the ride.
How would
I don't
that
know.
work?
I don't know if I
No.
want to eat it.
Yeah, that makes
All of
me
these
a
treats
little
are going to be
nervous.
all these treats are going to be carefully preloaded and like sealed, package sealed, so that they've never been opened or touched and they haven't been sitting in there, and they're going to be loaded every morning, and they're going to be up to health code standards, and they're going to
Okay.
be fresh, and we're not going to compromise anyone's safety, because I thought that would be the biggest
And I'm
concern
guessing that
here.
it
But
only gives you the amount for the people who are actually on the ride, not just like
Yeah.
a trick or treat, stick your hand and grab
it is
everything you
not- no,
can.
it will like a little door will
Okay.
open and push it out to
Okay,
you. And
gotcha.
it's just this it's going to be like a little piece of candy in a wrapper.
Okay.
It's not like, this is not a fresh pastry bakery item from Norway.
Okay.
This is not a school bread that was just, this is
Can
like
you
a little
imagine if they just
size-
served me a little mini school bread wrapped up?
I'm thinking this is
What
like
universe is Disney giving you a free mini school bread?
this is like a complimentary mint at the end of your
Pop it in, girl.
meal.
Pop it in and
So-
keep
Well, I
moving.
love an
Let's
Olive
not
Garden
go
mint.
crazy. This has to be,
That's
it has
true.
to be sanitary. It has to be fresh. It has to be able to be stored in a ride vehicle. So think of it this way. It's more
Actually,
like a
we
little piece of candy.
We should get those Olive Garden mints, chocolate mints, because then your mouth will be like a nice and breezy in there because of the
true.
mint.
And you
so
guys
it'll
don't
go
like
That's what
really
it
on
is.
You guys
brand.
don't like
Mhm.
peppermint, so I could just take yours.
Not true. I like
Mhm.
peppermint mixed with chocolate
Oh.
in an Andes.
Oh, I didn't know you liked
little
them.
piece.
Wow.
Okay.
Why do
I
you think I
didn't
eat them all
realize-
at the table?
I didn't realize this component was going to really derail the
Anytime there are
conversation, but
snacks
wow.
involved, you know we're going to
Listen,
take it seriously.
I wanted
True.
to engage every sense that you have. You're going to smell. This is imagination all over again.
Figment is
Figment's
there.
back. He said,
And you know what? What about people with allergies? We're gonna have specialty candies. When
That's
you get
right.
off this ride, you tell the Imagine or the
Mhm.
cast member that's right there at the front. Say I have a allergy to this, and they're gonna trade you out for another magical.
We're a fully
candy.
accessible
right.
experience.
that's
Yeah.
right.
We thought of it all.
No
Well,
matter
not
what,
we,
somebody's going to legally work this out.
you.
We think it up, somebody else legally works it out.
Yep.
Hey, we're not
That's the way it works
bound
in
by
this show.
budget constraints or all of that.
We're not bound by
garbage.
anything.
We're
We're
not
not bound by
wild.
kitchens.
We're riding around in a wardrobe for crying out loud. We're not bound by anything.
I just want to be bound by Prince Caspian.
Another
I
moment
know.
for the Patreon that we
know.
don't have.
I know you're not leaving that in, but I'm losing it.
I hope
Oh, I am.
you do.
Oh, I am.
I'm a,
You
happy,
do.
I'm a happily married woman.
Yeah, to Prince Caspian now.
Woo!
Because your husband out the
Wow.
door.
Leaving me.
Whoa.
He took the chocolate and left.
Your husband just exited via wardrobe. He said, I'm
outta
out.
here.
Taking the
I
baby.
don't want to figments. And I'm gone.
Woo! Okay.
Spicy
Well,
up in here.
back to the ride. Every scene is going to be brought to life through stunning animatronics, the next gen level that we've seen lately. There's going to be very layered set decoration. There's going to be groundbreaking effects that make this world feel alive and ever changing. The attraction is going to build to a stirring finale as Aslan himself, the lion, appears as the powerful, awe-inspiring presence that he is, and offers a moment of hope and triumph that closes the ride with the emotional heartbeat at the center of Narnia's story. And once the ride returns you to the exit, you are in the golden age again as you exit back out into the warm, restored version of Narnia. It's a clear contrast that reinforces the story that you just lived.
Oh.
Oh, is Aslan going to be it's going to be an animatronic,
Oh, yeah.
not a screen, right?
He's
Yeah.
going to look
Okay.
so real. He's going to
Oh my
jump out.
God.
Onto our
picturing
ride
him-
vehicle.
I
Yes,
wish.
right onto your ride vehicle, leap on it, and the ride vehicle is going to react. and
Like
you're gonna-
Spider-Man
Whoa,
when he-
like Spider-Man, but Aslan. No, I'm just imagining him walking out onto like a big rock, like the
Mhm.
stone
Yeah.
table, or where he was. No, spoiler alert! If you don't know, he was killed on the stone table. So maybe he'll walk out onto the broken stone table. But I'm picturing he's like on like an arm that's it's black or covered, so we can move the whole figure. And he's a full sized lion. This is not
That's so
not just his
cool.
head or something.
Oh,
yeah.
that's so cool.
And you could also probably use whatever technology I'm hoping they're using for the Lion King ride in Disneyland Paris
That's true.
to, kind of build off of what they've got going on there.
Maybe he'll be Epcot's Yeti, but won't break.
Yeah. He
can
won't be
only
so
wish.
big that he's breaking the actual structure of the. So,
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. Important details.
hmm Well, this is just one piece of what I have planned for the land. I really want it to feel like you've truly stepped into Narnia with cast members and performers everywhere that are bringing this story to life. And so they might be constantly asking who you are and where you came from and how you got here, and kind of creating these endless opportunities for improv and interactions and really unforgettable moments. And I want it to be like guests are taking home with them stories like, remember when Mr. Tumnus was so fascinated about us being from the faraway kingdom of Birmingham, Alabama? Like, that's a first. And like just something so silly that like makes them feel like oh,
Talking to me.
I'm special too because I'm from the real world or something, wherever that may be. And and I can say this because I love Birmingham. Shout out to Beham. Love y'all. I'm from there. Amanda's from there too. She's not here to defend it tonight, but
It's the United States'
It's the
Narnia.
it
205.
is.
The
It's the
Narnia.
205. Ruben Studdard, baby.
The Narnia.
Roll
of the
Tide,
faith.
Alabama football. Well, what's even more fun is the opportunity to expand the films and books and create even more deeper lore surrounding Narnia. And like just think of the story opportunities that you could have with immersive dining and shopping. And I think
Ooh, dining. Can we develop
yeah.
restaurants in the next one?
Oh yeah. Well, I've got the foundation of one here.
Ooh,
Oh,
I
tell
think
us.
this is like I really think this is where kind of the world building would shine in this.
Okay.
Like Imagineers could take these creative liberties and really create new
Yeah.
stories. And so I was thinking, what if there was a restaurant where everything is secretive and hush hush, like at the beginning of this episode, and you're kind of playing into this idea that the White Witch may still be lurking through her like fragmented magic, and her spies are always listening, like the trees. And so, what if it was like a true speakeasy, and you almost feel
Ooh.
nervous to
What
be
if you
there?
had to
There's like
whisper
this,
the whole time.
yeah,
That you were in there, and it was very
ASMR.
relaxing.
I was gonna say that sounds
Yeah.
so nice after a day
like
at
a
being at
break.
Disney and it's loud.
It's
right.
Yeah.
It's all like this.
And the air conditioner's on, and you can hear
Yeah.
everything, and it'll be so good.
That would be so peaceful. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the idea that you would just feel like nervous in like kind of a good fun way of like, ooh, what's happening here? And like I'm picturing the servers are whispering and they're like looking around over their shoulders while they're taking your order, like panicked, like,
Sir, would you like a
I'm
Diet
sure.
Coke?
yeah.
I want ice Diet Coke.
Right. Exactly. And then like when you get too loud, they're like, "Shh, they could hear you or something," and they
Love
like
that.
remind you. So it's kind of like a 50s prime time, but like they're
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of coming and keeping in this story with you. And like, what if the menu items were written in what felt like secret codes? And it's like,
Oh
like,
no. Oh, go ahead.
What?
Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
no, tell me.
go
I-
ahead. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
what if the menu is in invisible ink and you have to like do something or swipe across
Ooh,
it,
you have
and
to, like,
that's when it
paint over it or
appears.
something with
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's
Oh.
cool.
That's good.
Well, listeners, you just
Mhm.
got a sneak peek of what it's like when we start going crazy with ideas.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. When we do projects together, they're
Yeah.
crazy because we're just like building off of each other, throwing something out.
More absurd.
But
That's
yeah.
your idea. I love
But
that.
yeah, I'm just thinking like when you're in this land, there's all types of different pathways you could go down with like secret interactive experiences at the end. Like it's like everything's a scavenger hunt everywhere you go in the land. And like maybe at the end of one of them, there's like a turtle talk style experience that's Mr. and Mrs. Beaver's dam, and they're like down there and they're
That's
talking to
cool.
you, and you're like you go
Yeah.
inside their dam, and she's like cooking for you or something. And like I think there's just so many things you could do with it. Oh, you have an idea?
I have another idea. We could copy the keys that they have in Disneyland, and instead it could be something that you purchase in Narnia, and you like could put it up to trees or things like that, and it would like
Ooh.
light up or do different
Yeah.
stuff.
That's cool.
How cool would that be?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
We need it over here in
I
World.
love that idea. Like what if the lamppost, like the iconic lamppost, like you could light it up like through your key or something.
Yeah.
Like you have the gas lamp turn on by you.
maybe
doing it.
you're that's when you're the chosen one or something.
Mm,
Like
right.
and then
it's
you
kind
get
of the
to
Sword
do
of
it.
the Stone style
Yeah.
experience. Ooh,
Wow, we did a lot with this.
that's good.
Yeah.
Well, you
Mhm.
did a lot with this. We
You're
just
I mean
jumped
you're
in.
bringing in marketing opportunities and
I'm here for
merch
it.
opportunities and
Mhm.
like
Dining.
whatever dining.
I'm ready. I'm
She's
ready.
got
There's potential here. I'm into it.
Yeah. And finally, after thinking about all the ways that guests could explore Narnia, the next question kind of became obvious to me. What do we call this land?
Narnia.
And
Mhm,
and I
sure.
wanted to avoid the word world because we have too many of those lately. We got
Everything's a
World
world.
of Avatar, we got World of Frozen, we got Disney Adventure World now. Instead, I landed on the magical realm of Narnia.
That's good.
Ooh,
It's
that's
simple.
a nice word.
I don't think Disney's ever used the word realm in like an official land name. And it kind of really expresses what Narnia is. I feel like
Yeah.
Narnia is more of a realm than a world. Like
Yeah.
it is this own, you can't explain it. It doesn't have a physical geography to it. It's just its
No.
own place.
I like it. This could be Disney's answer to Harry Potter World
Right.
and Universal
I
Park.
was thinking that there's
Mhm.
a lot of similarities.
I like the magical realm. It's fun. Let's
Yeah,
go.
I don't think there's anything like this at Disney currently. There's not a
No.
magical realm.
No.
I mean, there's Fantasyland, which I would
That's
consider,
not
but
the
it's not the
same.
same.
No, yeah.
It doesn't have the
It doesn't
backstory.
feel
It
like
doesn't
this.
have the heritage and the 75 years of cultural
Mhm.
impact that this does.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Fantasyland does have
It has
70
some
years at least
some
of,
impact,
of
yeah.
cultural impact, but not in the
Disney
same way
World.
of the world building here.
It doesn't feel like magic when you go back there.
Right.
I guess like not a way to put it down or anything like that, but like it doesn't have that. Feels
Well,
different when you
it's
walk into Hogwarts.
right.
Like it
It's
feels like
two.
you're in
Yeah,
another
and Fantasyland
world.
is two pieces. Well, three really. You've got Storybook Circus, you've got Old School Fantasyland, and you've got New Fantasyland. So it's
Puzzle that doesn't
it
fit.
all right. It all works in its own little Fantasyland way, but it's not a hate to use the word immersive, but it's not that full on immersion that you would
Yeah.
get from this. And I'll tell y'all that when I've been writing these episodes, I am going through to see anytime I typed the word immersive, and I'm limiting myself
it.
to it only being in there one time.
Get
an
outta here.
Find
episode.
and
So
replace.
fun, and I'm like,
What are
what
some
other word could this
synonyms?
be? Because we can't use that anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, I think an important thing about world building inside a Disney park is this opportunity to create an experience through source material IP that guests may not necessarily be familiar with, but will walk away with a connection to. And like for me, I think about Pandora as a great example because when I first went there, I'd never seen any of the Avatar movies, and I
Mhm.
have now. But I was immediately captivated by the experience that Imagineering had developed. It's just this masterclass in world building. And like you can feel it the moment you walk in there. Like I don't have to know anything about it to know how much care they put into it. And I think it goes without saying that we're imagining Narnia in this purely, fun creative exercise here. And we're not claiming that this is C.S. Lewis himself who envisioned this or even wanted this, but the likelihood of this is happening is slim to none. But I think we could do that type of, world building here.
We always say a lot of our ideas aren't going to happen. And then 5 minutes later, Disney's putting out
That's
press
true.
releases with literally our
Mhm.
ideas. So don't say it's slim to none. You never know.
Actually, yeah. Mm.
But it also like Pandora itself. Whoever, if you asked me 15 years ago that like is Disney going to do a Avatar
Yeah,
world?
that was
I never would have thought that would happen.
very.
And this is something that was actually, and three of the movies still owned by Disney. So
Yeah.
this is more
Makes
realistic
more
to me
sense.
than I ever would have thought that would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think what's exciting to me is how I've noticed that Imagineering has really leaned into world building more than ever. And it's no longer about just creating a ride or a pretty set piece. It's really about designing the entire experience with every detail and every corner, telling this story and stepping into these lands feels transformative, whether it's Narnia or Pandora or Galaxy's Edge. And, something maybe in the works like Piston Peak Cars Land. So I think we're going to get that's a really cool way to build a world even further. That is something that that is like briefly mentioned in a spin-off of Cars, Piston Peak, and they've now turning it into something that we're going to experience, and we're going to lose ourselves in the rules and the culture and the logic of these places, and we don't even have to know the whole story behind it. We're just going to live it.
I'm ready to live it with you, man.
Yeah. And it's something I've noticed a lot recently with Zootopia 2, the idea that world building can go both ways and be influenced by, not just, they created the land in Shanghai off the movie, but then for Zootopia 2, Jared Bush, the director, confirmed that he took a lot of things from Zootopia Land in Shanghai and put it in the movie because he liked
Oh,
what the
wow.
Imagineers came up with. And for example, there's like a sheep barber shop where they're collecting wool to make sweaters, and they put that into Zootopia 2, which is really
funny.
a cute idea. And I just think it's a really beautiful example of this loop that kind of is created through theme parks and film and TV, where it can just be this cycle of creation and imagination that's working all together.
Yeah, I love the idea that they were able to incorporate stuff from the park into the movie because it really does then feel like where does this end and where does this begin? Like they seamlessly go together.
Right.
And I hate to reference the micro magic that I did with the Society of Explorers and Adventurers, but like I love that they
Yeah.
were able to just loop and build that in and it all just flows and goes back and forth with each other.
it all kind of makes it more believable than ever.
Mhm.
Like it was all intentional. Like everything is
Right.
real because it's so canon.
It's like it's like we've been given like a puzzle or something,
Yeah.
and we're now all the pieces are starting to like fit together, and it's taken
Mhm.
70 years to do this, but all of the
Yeah.
pieces and backgrounds and everything are now just flowing together.
It's the tiniest puzzle ever.
Teeny tiny.
Mhm.
Million piece puzzle.
Yeah.
Bajillion one.
Well, last week we talked about how if you can't explain your project in one sentence, it may be too complex for guests. But one way to simplify that is to think about how it would appear on a park map or website, which often reflects the attraction's creative intent. So for Narnia, I think it would read something like this: The magical realm of Narnia. Step through magical portals into Narnia, where enchanted forests, towering ice castles, and unforgettable adventures await every hero, creature, and traveler in this legendary world.
Ooh, I can't wait to go. It sounds like such a imaginative and wonderful time.
Yeah. And then if you're watching on YouTube, you can see our map here. I kind of mapped out a layout of how I thought it would kind of fit into the area. And I'll also post this on Instagram in the coming days for anyone who is not watching. But I thought this was kind of a simple way to utilize this space. And there is a road back there that Marissa is probably also familiar with. Anyone who's worked behind the UK knows that that road is kind of important. So I thought of a way to build the country estate where you enter the attraction on an elevated space so that we could preserve that road with a tunnel. So
Spent a lot of time on that.
functionality.
Spent a lot of time on those roads back there. But yeah, there's a ton of room back there that's just not really being utilized. So let's get it going.
Yeah. So check out our maps.
Wow. Well, that was a chilly adventure. Got my sweater on over here. So shout out to Stephen for guiding us through the snow, the secrets, and the stories of Narnia. I actually think we've only scratched the surface of what would become of this magical land based on just the ideas that happened on this podcast alone.
Yeah. And can you believe it's already mid-January?
No.
Yeah. Time is flying, but we're so excited for everything that the season has in store. Next week, I hear we're heading somewhere cozy and familiar where quiet paths and leafy corners hold all sorts of adventures. But you'll have to wait until Tuesday to see it unfold. There will be no episode on Monday due to Martin Luther King Day.
Well, before you dash off into the snow, or Snope if you're here with Marissa and I in Orlando, don't forget to leave us a review or rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. We'd love to thank you on a future episode. And if you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment about today's episode so we can know what you thought about it all. Would you rope drop the magical realm of Narnia? Narnia? We want to know.
Narnia. And of course, follow us on Instagram at Idiots Imagineering for maps, reels, behind-the-scenes chaos. You might even see some hints about future projects if you're paying attention.
And before I leave us, I do have to come back to one very important thing that I mentioned earlier that I did not follow up on. The Polar Express is on Disney+.
Oh, okay.
But
Really?
I think it's on Hulu. It says it's on Disney Plus and Hulu, so it must be owned by one of those, but also HBO Max, which I guess is all part of it now.
Because it's very important everyone watches the Polar
it's
Express.
HBO Max. Maybe Max. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, you know with that. And with that, we wish you a wonderful week and remind you, if you can dream it,
You can make a podcast about it. Bye.
bye.